very welcome to this session where we celebrate 10 years of Learning Network Circular Economy Connect. And today we're very happy that to invite Barco for this session, and we will listen to their journey on circularity, which is really impressive. Barco already participated in the first edition of the Learning Network Circular Economy Connect, but also joined with several people during other editions of this Learning Network. In this Learning Network, we always bring together companies and introduce them to the different aspects of circularity, and for sure, we also share a lot of information, and that's exactly also what we will do today. And this participation to this network is often a start for a very long journey on circularity, and Barco will explain this today. But before I give the word to Daniela, I will first shortly introduce you to circularity to give you a view on what this can mean for your company as well, to increase your business resilience and also provide opportunities for your company. So when we look at the standard linear economy, we all know this process where we produce products made from components, made from materials. And once this is used by the consumer, this ends up as a waste product. And in a circular economy, we try to bend this and extend the lifetime of the products. And this is described very nicely in the butterfly model of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And she describes two cycles. First, you have the biological cycle, where we have materials which are generated by nature and we give them back to nature. This is a known cycle, but we will focus today on the technical cycle. These are materials which are produced by, these are man-made materials, we call them. So they are produced by persons and companies. And in order to extend the life, we have to look at it in a different way, because we can't just regenerate it. So we have different loops to extend the life of a product in a circular economy. The first, of course, is to make sure that the products is being used as long as possible by the consumer, by offering services and good maintenance, and of course also repair and upgrades if the product fails or is no longer up to date. Another option is, of course, to make sure that this product is being used by different users, and there we can look at the end of the life, have a reuse, so a second-hand option. But of course, we can also look at sharing and making sure that the product is being used simultaneously by different users, increasing the use intensity of the product. We can also have the product refurbished or repurposed. This means that you do some additional actions to the product, giving it a new battery, or making sure that it's being able to be used by for another purpose. Another layer on top of that, we can go for remanufacturing or recovering of certain components. And then, of course, what we all know is recycling of materials. These are all very interesting loops to look at when we are talking about a circular economy, and which can create a value. And this value is linked to the functionality, and that's exactly what these circles, these loops stand for. The further, the longer the circle, the loop back, the functionality reduces. So if we have product going to recycling, the functionality of the product has been removed, let's say, and we go back to the material level. But if we go for repair, the functionality is really kept at the highest level. A very important change when we are talking about circularity is, in fact, the role of the consumer. This consumer is changed into a user. So this different view can mean a lot, because then you really think about how can this product be used by different persons or a longer time. And of course, we want to try to minimize the end phase of a product. And to do so, and we will see that in a minute as well in the presentation of Barco, we are working on circular design. So you have to think about these different potential loops in future and adapt your design to it. And that's the first thing that you will learn later this presentation. But another way of talking about circularity is really, I already touched on it, to look at the value. And this is explained by this value hill. This is exactly the same flow as I described in the butterfly model, where we see the different phases of your getting to a product. And in these phases, you increase the value. And at the highest point, that's the transfer to the user. And in a linear economy, the end phase looks just like this. So you destroy completely the value of this product. And that's really an interesting way of looking at a circular economy, because there we will try to extend and retain the value. So first, by creating multiple users, offering this in different phases to users. And then, of course, also in these different loops, which we described in the butterfly model, we can also retain the value much more easily. So these are really the loops where you can create additional value for your company and look at valorization of your product in multiple stages and phases. So this is exactly what we look at when we talk about circular business models. Here you really link the circular design to the business models, and these two, they really support each other, and you can make a big benefit for it as a company. And this is just a short introduction about circular economy, because now we will listen to Daniele Casati, who will introduce us to the circular journey of Barco, which is really impressive. So I'm really grateful, Daniele, that you are here to share your story with us. And I will stop sharing, and you can start sharing your slides.
Thank you, Els. Let me share my slide. Okay, I hope you can see.
Yes.
Is everything okay? Okay, great. So thanks, Els, for the introduction. We are really happy to be here to talk about circularity at Barco, inspire you, but also receive feedback and also always improve. My name is Daniela Casati. I joined Barco 1.5 years ago in the Eco office. So it's our product sustainability office, where we really focus on environmental compliance, but also sustainability, making more efficient products with less materials. And we are in Barco reporting to Barco Labs, so really in innovation department here at Barco, but we also have a sustainability corporate where we support corporate by sharing data and all the KPIs related to environmental product sustainability. A little bit about Barco, if you don't know, it's a leader in advanced visualization, video networking, and collaboration. It's located in Kortrijk in Belgium. It's the headquarter, but we have factories in Italy, China, India, Yeah, that's it. With about 3,000 employees, and we have these three core markets in healthcare by developing displays for diagnostic imaging and surgical and modality. We also have the enterprise market, where the most common product is the click share, the dongle that you click and then you share your content in meetings. And then lastly, the biggest chunk is in cinema projection and immersive experience. Here is some of our products, the ClickShare bar. We also have this Encore, which is a full show control in a single box, the projector, Barco Unici with the tiles for events, for example, and then a display for healthcare that is focused on radiology. And we also develop softwares to support all this, mainly for Barco control rooms. I cannot speak about circularity if I don't speak about sustainability first. So sharing a bit of our key milestones when it comes to sustainable impact journey, starting in 2013 with the first funding project called Green Elec, and also setting ambassadors. And then 2016-17, the first CDP report and also first set of targets. Then 2019, we had the first sustainability strategy, and then the creation of the EcoScore. And I'm going to talk about EcoScore a lot here. So it was a really a key milestone to us, the creation of this tool. And then everything that we did with this tool was really central to our sustainability strategy. And then 2022, when we first set our SBTI, science-based targets, and also other sustainability KPIs. And then where we had the beginning of the funding, VLIO funded project called Eco Platform, where we enhanced our sustainability tools, for example, having a life cycle assessment tool, and also improving further the EcoScore design tool. And then more recently, from 2023 up until now, we had launched the Sustainable Impact Journey strategy, also launched in 2025 the first CSRD report, aligned, renewed our SBTI targets, which is a very important milestone to us, and also now focusing on a new funding project, I4SBD, also funded by VLIO. And there our focus is to develop tools to improve or to integrate sustainable design into our processes. So for example, I'm going to talk about this as well, but how to create more circular business models, and what are the tools needed and data needed to develop a business case for circularity, for example. We also received different awards. So the Impact Award for the best mid-cap annual report, and also listed as Time World's Most Sustainable Companies in 2024 and again 2025. This is our wheel, sustainable impact journey wheel. I'll focus more on the environmental part, but we have three pillars: engaging with people, empowering society, and protecting Earth. And in protecting Earth, we focus on taking climate action aligned with science actually, but also developing more sustainable products. And the third one is to increase or explore circular offerings. So this shows how we integrate circularity in the top of our governance, really the commitment, having clear commitments, and then setting up actions and programs, and then KPIs. So talking about KPIs, these are our KPIs related to environmental, and they are all kind of connected to circularity in a way. I mentioned the EcoScore. I'm going to talk about more, but around the EcoScore, we set two targets. One is more related to the new product development, where 90% of our new products should be eco-labeled, meaning that they are the best in class when it comes to eco design. And then the other target related to EcoScore is that 80% of the revenue will come from eco-label products. We also have some targets related to reducing energy consumption. And then here we have the increase of revenues from circular products each year, year by year. 85% of our company waste will be recycled. It's also one of our targets, and zero waste will go to landfill. So in a nutshell, we have different targets by 2027, but also you see by 2030. So the next one is the SBTi target. We are very, very proud of this one. And by 2030, we aim to reduce 42% of scope 1 and 2. And the most challenging one is scope 3, which is related to product. So we will reduce 25% of scope 3 when it comes to use of sold products. So the energy, it's related to the energy efficiency of the product itself. And then we have this other one, the 30% of our suppliers by emission should also set SBTi targets, meaning that we are tackling the two most intensive parts, the use and then the purchase goods or the goods that goes into the product. And yeah, we decided to go to approach by an engagement target to incentivize suppliers to also set the same targets, so they start their climate journey with us. So, talking about targets now. Deep diving into circular economy and what Barco sees as circular economy. And our ambition is to provide customers with more circular experiences by still delivering innovative products. And then by that, we aim to reduce waste and retain the highest utility and value of products and components for as long as possible. So offering products with lower environmental impact, but that lasts longer. This is as simple as that. And to do that, we focus on three main pillars. I'm going to talk about the first two, mainly circular, the design itself. But then we focus on circular design, of course, with modularity, durability, and recyclability, which is the last one, the least preferred one, but we still think about that. But of course, repairability, upgradability are the main ones. The second one is to address the end of life of our products and services by capturing remaining value, so offering more circular services or circular products. So, for example, we have cinema as a service, so we aim to increase those type of services or products in that sense. The last one is take actions to prevent and reduce waste from our own operations, which is also embedded in our EcoScore program. So, talking about circular design and EcoScore tool, our tool that I mentioned. Why we developed this tool? We developed because at the time there was no one fit all approach to assess or quantify objectively our products when it comes to eco design. So we decided since we have very different products, we created our own methodology that is third-party validated, and that covers the four main life cycle domains of products. So energy efficiency, materials, packaging, and end of life. And we do that assessment since the beginning, the new product introduction. So we don't assess at the end. It's really the beginning to support and steer the eco design development. This tool also helps us in data collection. As I mentioned, we need to report for CSRD, so there are many KPIs we need to collect. Also, due to regulations like a packaging regulation, battery regulation, we need a very strong data collection process, and there the EcoScore also helps a lot. It also allows us to compare products internally, and it works as a way to anticipate regulations, upcoming regulations as well. You can also click here. I'll share the details, but you can visit the webpage and check for all criterion. We make it available, and we update this yearly. We update the tool yearly. Currently, we are in version 9 of the tool, meaning that we did more than one update per year. This is a summary of the scoring itself. So the score can range from D, which actually is not allowed. It means that we are, we're not following legal requirement, for example. C, meaning minimum effort. B, upright effort, and then A plus, and A plus plus. So A significant, A plus great, and A plus plus utmost effort. And when I said in the beginning about the eco label target, I meant, the eco label covers A plus, and A plus plus. But this is more internally for our internal assessment, but externally we usually use the eco label language, let's say. And as I mentioned, we divide into 4 domains: energy efficiency, materials, packaging, and end of life. And these domains are also scored in letters, so D, C, B, A. So a product is A++ when all 4 domains are A. And then it's A+ when 3 domains are A, and so on. So for example, also A when only 2 are A. And then we have the subtopics per domain. So energy efficiency, we check power supply efficiency, the product energy efficiency, standby modes, power management modes. In materials, we talk about reducing hazardous materials, also improving the environmental impact of the product by running hotspots, like life cycle assessment hotspots. We also request recycled content and battery information. In packaging, we look for optimization of packaging, in logistics as well, and also the material use, if it's easy to disassemble or not, and also if the materials you use are more sustainable or not. And for that, we have another methodology to check the technical recyclability and the environmental impact of the material. And lastly, the end of life and circularity, because we started as only end of life, but then we focus on other circularity aspects over the years. So now we call it end of life and circularity. But we know that the other aspects are also related to circularity. So there we talk about the lifetime extension of the product, recyclability, design for disassembling and repair, but also modularity, how modular the product is and how upgradable it is in the future, and product recyclability as well. And the subtopics, we always score from 0, which is no efforts at all, 1, which is intermediate effort, and 2, which is the best in class that is possible. So this is the summary of EcoScore. And yes, it is a self-declared environmental claim type 2. It is verified against 14,021. In the process, we do that every year with OneSOT. We always check relevance, the completeness, if all data is available, if it's reliable, if the assessment is objective, and the clarity on the interpretation of the methodology. They always check the new version, if the method and the criterion are okay, if they are still advanced, let's say. But they also do some sample checks in previous eco scores that were processed, that were finalized. And it's always quality checked. So if I do the assessment, my colleague will quality check and vice versa. So it's, there is a whole process behind. And this is a summary of how EcoScore is central to our eco-design strategy. It fits into our eco-label KPI. It also fits or helps supports the reduce of Scope 3, Category 1, the purchased goods, when we select better materials when it comes to CO2 footprint, but it also supports the reducing of use of sold products when we implement more efficient products. And then, of course, supports the circular economy KPIs that we set by assessing or implementing criteria in the end of life part of EcoScore. So now I can talk more about the EcoScore and practical example and criteria that we defined in the file that are connected to circularity and how it is connected. So, for example, in energy efficiency, to score 1, so 1, again, 1 is intermediate, 2 is the best score possible. To get A or eco label doesn't mean that all criterion needs to be the best or 2. It's there's a weight behind. So 1 could be still okay, but at least for energy efficiency, in order to be A, this criterion here really needs to be 2, or needs to be fulfilled. So, for example, energy efficiency, we always give the best score when 5%, when the product is more efficient than 5% than the average. So, an example that we do, we compare product delivered capability. So, for example, brightness per power consumption. And then we take this ratio compared to at least 3 more competitors. We do the average, we make the average of these 3 competitors, and then we check if our ratio is at least 5% better than this average. So this is how we assess energy efficiency. And then, the C, circular economy relation is resource efficiency. And then we also have questions on halogen in PCBs and cables, because this is hazardous material. And then we always strive to have more halogen-free PCBs, cables, and plastics. So in order to achieve the best score, we ask for more than 65% halogen PCBs and more than 50% halogen-free cables. And this is very, connected to recyclability, because, the more clean, let's say, less hazardous materials, easier is the recyclability for that product. We also request a recycled content to achieve the best score. We increase now, and we keep on increasing. Actually, in the latest version, V9, we increase from 25 to 30% recycled content in plastic of our product. And this is connected to resource efficient. And then also environmental impact, as I mentioned, we conduct life cycle assessment. We check what are the hotspots components when it comes to CO2 footprint. And then for that hotspots components, which supplier of that component has some kind of SBTi target. Could be officially validated by SBTi, but could also be that they have ambitious targets, but it's not, they didn't go through the validation process, because we know it's also can be costly depending on the supplier. So this is about the energy and materials part. Going to packaging and logistics. So logistics, we check if the design was made to fit a standard pallet. Basically, if during the logistics we are being very, if we're optimizing logistics and not shipping, little or less than necessary, for example. So if we're also optimizing stacking height to use sea and rail freight, for example. And this is related to resource efficiency, packaging recyclability. We also check what are the materials used, the weight per material. We developed as I mentioned, the recyclability score, where we assign environmental impact and divide by technical recyclability. And there we see how many eco points this packaging materials scored, and try to reduce as much as possible. And this is currently the threshold we assigned. We also foment a lot recycled content in cardboard and recycled content in plastics. And also in accessories in the box, meaning that we only request to have minimal accessory. And one interesting case we had here, and we see more and more, less and less actually, happening, is that sometimes we were putting as many cords, country power cords as possible, because that was the easiest way. But now we are only putting the power cord related to the country where that product was going to be shipped to. So that required a lot of, it seems like something simple, but that required a lot of changes in the process, like creation of part numbers and so on. So it's a simple action, but interesting one related to efficiency. But now going to the end of life and circularity part, which is, maybe the most interesting here. When it comes to lifetime extension and repairability, we always give the best score. It's very small. Maybe for you it's better. But we always give the best score when we have 5 years warranty, and then 7 years spare parts availability, and also the calculation of mean time between failure and the product extended lifetime. So having all these studies calculated and proved that that was the best, best possible lifetime extension for that type of product. And then when it comes to repairability, we give the best score when there is the ability for on-site or remote repair, and optional connection for service or repair in the factory. And when it comes to spare parts and design for disassembly, we always check what are the spare parts available, if there is the spare parts list available and the visible for us access to the for professionals to do that repairing. We also check design for disassembly, how easy it is to disassemble that product. So for example, to get the best score, we ask for max 3 tools and standard tools. This is also important. Standard tools to open up that product, and meaning that it's easy to disassemble, and meaning also that it's more likely that you will be repaired or even upgraded in the future. We also request that fasteners are visible or marked, and that fasteners can be reused. This means that, it's very easy and quick to be disassembled, or for repair or even recycling. But it means that the product can be easily opened up and replaced, upgraded, repaired, and so on. So that's also something very, very good. And also the documentation available, for example, the recycling passport of the product, so you know exactly what is there. It's also very important too. So the consumers or the users can take more informed decisions, or they can find information about that product easily. I think, that's the main message. Finally, modularity and upgradability. We always check if the product is modular, or the modularity of components is maximized, for example, by using discrete building blocks that are part of a common platform. This is something we check. And also we check if the product is upgradable. And we request at least 3 criteria for that upgradability. It could be software upgradability. It could be compatibility with the competition, for example, when the product could be used with the competition, with other products from the competition, for example. Something that could enhance the functionality of performance in the future. I think that's the main point here. And then we also have some questions on recyclability. Again, it's also last, but maybe, also for a reason, because we want to do as much as possible when it comes to repair, upgradability. But still, we need to think about recyclability because, one day our products will be recycled or will go to end of life. But we ask, we check if the products that are made or different material in the product, if it's possible to be removed or be disassembled, or if it's not possible to disconnect from each other. In the recycling process, is there any incompatibility? So we also check that. We also, with the Maker Site tool, which is the life cycle assessment tool, we can calculate product recyclability. So we can check how recyclable it is. And then we check about the markings. If the plastic markings has this specific mark according to ISO, these two standard ISOs. And that would make it easier for the recyclers to spot what type of plastic it is, and how to process. And then lastly, we ask about coating and painting of that material. If it is, we remove points. But if there are two conditions, if the cover is metal and it's painted, it's okay, because normally in the recycling process this is not an issue. Or if the plastic contains recycled content, if it's coated, we also don't remove points, because we know that recycled plastics can, the cosmetic part could be an issue. That's why they add coating and painting. So that's a way to still let them use recycled content. So that was the part on eco design and how implement into our eco score. I have two examples here on recyclability. Circularity in practice. This is one case, the UDX case, refurbishment, where we collected several UDX, which is an older version of projector for immersive experience, and we bought back and did the refurbishment of this product and resold again. So this is one example. What does this mean? Is that it means that our design is really lasting very long, because it was extended, it was its lifetime was extended in a way, and then we could still take it back and refurbish and sell it again. It also means that it's very modular, that the main parts, light source, for example, could easily be replaced to make this refurbishment happen. The second example is cinema as a service. I also put two types, two examples. Laser light upgrade, where we are now changing lamp base, which is much more energy intensive. We are replacing with laser light upgrade kits. Again, it's showing that our design is very robust, so it's lasting very long, so our users are still happy with the performance, but that we are able, and the product is also very modular, that we were able to replace with these laser light kits. So it's also a way to prove that we were doing eco design since the beginning, maybe even before the eco score process, but with that in mind, that's also interesting to see. And the second example is the laser light as a service, where the product itself, it's Barco's, but we are selling the light on screen. Is a way to offer, and this is a very circular model. And then finally going beyond eco designs and all these examples that I gave, we started to think, okay, we are doing good in eco design, but how we could create more of these opportunities that I just showed, by offering tools and supporting the business units, because they are doing all these actions, very good, very interesting actions, but sometimes they are doing in silos, and we are trying to create a common approach, and by offering tools, because this, as Eco Office, this is our main goal, to offer tools so the business units can create more circular designs, but also create more business opportunities with our products. And we came to the idea, and it's a VLAIO-funded project, the I4SPD that I just mentioned in the beginning, of creating a circularity assessment tool. Is a research project, 3 years research project. And we thought first, because, we first thought, okay, what does this mean? What circularity means to Barco? We believe it's a pathway to grow our business while minimizing environmental impact. And then we thought, okay, let's then develop a tool to assess a business model circularity and then pinpoints. So to close up or give a feedback loop to our eco design, but also how to create the business case for circularity. And that this tool assesses business case, creates different scenarios, showing, the environmental impact of every or each different scenario. But in the end will help or feed into our sustainable revenue KPI or eco-label KPI as we call right now. But in the future, we aim for more like more broad thinking. So this is how we came up with the creation of this tool focused on business case. Not, of course, it will loop back to our eco score, eco design, but it's a really new concept that we are working on as a research project. And our partners are, it's VLAIO, funded by VLAIO, and the partners are University of Antwerp and KU Leuven. And we are on the stage where we already did 2 workshops, one with the MX team or meeting experience team, where we started assessing the refurbishment of ClickShares, and they needed a tool or more data to create this business case. And then we moved to cinema, because projectors are really big, complex products, and they are already have a very modular and circular design. But then how we can compare, for example, one more linear when we sell the projector, and the other case, other scenario, the SaaS model or the product as a service model. So with that, we are coming up, it's still not finished, but we are coming up with a model of time resolved and life cycle based of that product. And the aim is to compare different scenarios of circularity, as I just mentioned. So it's not only product as a service, but we also want, check other scenarios, for example, for refurbishment, repair, or upgrade. And to support the main goal here is to support the creation of business case for circularity with reduced impact, of course. So the main input will be the bill of material of the product, the environmental impact that we can get from maker site, also cost data, and the output would be the profitability and again the environmental impact, and also how we retain value for circularity. So that's the main purpose of the tool. It's still work in progress. It's still ongoing, but we are really hoping this tool helps the BUs achieve or create more circular opportunities. And this tool will fit into this bigger framework that we are creating with this sustainability department, or on this other specific project, where we are creating really a circular economy framework, where we are thinking about, okay, how is our current way of working to create new business cases, and then how we could create new business cases but focus on circularity. We are still and the plan is to have a playbook for the BUs where they could already follow some steps and then implement more circular cases. And the first part would be define product and market approach. So having a first high-level business case, define the segments, channels, what will be the end-of-life strategy, and then it comes to the middle part, the business model, creation of a business model, and that's where the tool we are working on with the University of Antwerp and KU Leuven would support giving more data or for comparison to see how how each scenario would play out. And then finally, the operation, putting into operation how to execute and how to use different operations from Barco, because we have, for example, a depot repair where we collect products and repair and then sell back again. So how to use all these platforms from Barco in a more structured way. And of course, at the bottom, we have governance to define still in this playbook who does what, who governs what, who will be responsible for each part of circularity. So this is how we are embedding or creating more circular business opportunities. And then finally, the aim is to combine the eco-scoring of products and then with the creation of this circularity assessment tool. And then this will help us define the sustainable revenue in the future, because we're still working on that. And finally, just we did something, just to start having more circular KPI or circular revenue. As I mentioned, we have the eco-label KPI, right, where we score A+, A++, and these are taking into account in the eco-label KPI. But then we also defined, together with Van Sot, this was validated, to also include as circular or eco-label revenue, everything that is linked to this eco-labeled product, so warranty, accessories, and installation. We also added the upgrade kits. So I mentioned to you that the modules, the laser light upgrade in the projectors that were created to extend lifetime. This can also be considered now as an eco-labeled KPI, eco-label revenue KPI. So this is how we are doing, working while we're doing things. And finally, I think I can bring ending up the presentation here. What are our key lessons learned up until now is that first, circular design is a first step for the circular economy strategy, especially to us. And then second one, embed circularity into your business process. This is what we are doing step by step. Third one, measure for action, do not measure for reporting. I think this is very, very clear for everybody. Although we still, we still need to measure for reporting purposes, because we need to have our CSRD report. Launch concrete pilot projects. This helps a lot and spread over across the BUs. And third one, set up external partnerships within your value chain and ecosystem. So with suppliers, but also with local repair centers. For example, we visit a few of them. So really talking with your peers too, I think it helps. For example, our circular event here at Barco, I think it helped a lot to create more and more interest. So I think, these are a few. I'm sure there are more. So happy to hear your questions, answered some of them.
Great, thanks a lot. There are indeed a few questions in the chat, so I'll read them out to you. For the example you gave of buying back the UDX projectors, did you incentivize your customers any way to get them back to refurbish them?
I need to check exactly, because it was done some time ago, but I think there was indeed a way to collect back. I know that because, for example, that I know it's fresher in my mind, for the example of ClickShare that we are thinking about, we want to sell the new version, but in selling the new version, we want to collect the old one back. That's what we are trying to do with ClickShare, but I can check.
Great. Another question is the EcoScore tool. If this is also used by the designers to really do their job and design according to those requirements.
Yeah, it is. not in a day-to-day activity, let's say, but during the new product introduction process, there are different stages. And there is one project manager of that project, and it's his role to collect EcoScore data since the beginning. And then since the beginning, he needs to do like a gap assessment to check, okay, if I want to achieve score A or A++, what should I do? And then he will have the list, and then he should be the one responsible to spread that message to R&D to implement, okay, to achieve that score, we need to have recycled content, or to procurement in this case, to have more recycled content. Some cases it's not viable because then the material is not up to the quality level, let's say, but in other cases, it's not it's not a problem. So yeah, it's a start, and I think day to day maybe not, but they know a lot. They are really aware. Ecolabel KPI is part of their bonus, so it's a way, to trigger at least the curiosity to start thinking about, okay, what should I do then?
Yeah, and eco design is well thought at your R&D department, and so another question refers to the to your objective that your top suppliers should have also SBTI targets. Do you fear that they will charge you or ask for additional costs to become SBTI compliant?
Yeah, I think this here is relevant. But for the moment, what we did with pre-selected some of them that in total will have at least a bit more than 30% because we want to have a buffer. And then we started having engagement meetings. Some of them are really strategic to Barco and they are really long term. So these ones, and sometimes even bigger than us. So in most of the meetings I'm having now for the supplier engagement part, they always seem, okay, very interested. So the discussion of charging more still didn't come up, let's say. So for the moment they are showing openness to set up and also to keep. That's also something interesting because we think it's a given if a supplier has SBTI targets, but it's not always the case. Sometimes they drop the targets, unfortunately.
Yeah. Another question, if you also include biodiversity KPIs in the EcoScore?
Interesting question. So we are thinking about, and it was already part of a funding project, not directly in the EcoScore, but we are working with sustainability KPI for components where we are combining not only the CO2 footprint, but also other aspects. So water. So I know it's not super related to biodiversity, but somehow water eutrophication and water eutrophication or pollution. So the plan is to combine into one single score and start to use in R&D tools. So this is one way how we embedded biodiversity indirectly into EcoScore. But apart from that, that's what we did. We also did a biodiversity assessment, but that was more site-based, so it's not product-focused. But yeah, we are very interested in biodiversity or nature-based solutions. It's something that we want to explore indeed. But good question.
Voila. Another question. What are the consequences if suppliers are scored low when you are assessing them?
So in this case, for the EcoScore, the consequence is the score is not, it's 0, for example, in that topic. But for the SBTI strategy, if they don't have SBTI targets, first, which we engage with them, we try to convince them that's important to us. If they don't want to pay the submission, but they want to claim the target language, if their commitments are aligned with SBTI, we then validate that on our own. So there we need to collect more data to validate and make sure they are, they will really implement that. But if not, really not, then we'll need to select other suppliers to replace. Not what I mean is that we won't replace a supplier. So replacing is not still debated. Let's say we really want to first engage with them. But if we see they are not willing to set any targets, we then need to look for other suppliers like below in percentage, let's say, and then we'll need more. So that's the main risk for Barco. Then we need more effort to make this supplier with less percentage to engage or to set targets and validate.
Mm-hmm.
But this
Okay,
exercise we need to do. No, sorry. This exercise we need to do like a quarterly, once a year. We really need to check, okay, how are we doing with the 30%? Are we getting there? Because anything can happen. Anything can happen. We can change suppliers. And that's why we are doing that very aligned with procurement. So we're not doing it eco office alone. We cannot do that.
And then a final question in the chat, because then we will have to close. Do you also report to the customers giving back their devices, and how many could be reused, for instance, of those refurbished goods? Are they all to be refurbished, or?
If we tell them what we're going to do, or
no, I think how many in percentage are the ones coming back all able to be refurbished, or?
that's I think I don't have the data or this number. In cinema, I think it's something much more advanced. I think it's per BU. ClickShare not, unfortunately, because it's very small. That's why they are struggling a lot with creating the business case. But we don't have this percentage exactly. But for cinema, I would think it's a bit higher than the others because the product is really robust. It's also very more expensive product, but we don't have this number. Well, I think the BU has. I don't have.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Voila, and then we're through with all the questions, and then it leaves me to thank you. Thanks a lot for your presentation, Daniela. And if you still have additional questions, please don't hesitate to give them to me so that I can answer them together with Daniela. And then I hear you already think, okay, this is really great what Barco is doing, but how can I start? Well, we can already give you some recommendations, because during the 10 years of Circular Economy Connect, we collected a lot of insights, and they are now grouped into a white paper, which can be downloaded by you. And of course, also insights from Barco are in there, but they will help you to really get a head start. And what was already mentioned also by Daniela, what you have to do is just start your journey, because it will not be there from the beginning. You will have to start, and you will have to start with some aspects on eco-design, but of course also on the business models. And but where to start you want is in fact free for you to choose, but try to choose a field where you feel that within your company there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm to start. And what we promote, of course, is try to do this together. And this is exactly why we organize the Circular Economy Connect Learning Network, because together you can really share and understand the different aspects of circular economy in a much easier way. So very welcome to join our new edition. It starts on the 8th of October with the first session, and then together we will spend 5 sessions throughout the upcoming year, let's say, to explore together circular economy. And we as I mentioned already, today we had the presentation of Barco, but also Pami and Etap shared their stories, and the recordings are available on YouTube and also on our website. So please check them out. And another recommendation is to join our Academy on Circular Design, which will be held on the 22nd of September, and where you will learn on the different aspects of circular design and also on the business models. And finally, I also want to warmly recommend the e-learnings we have developed together with Ciris, 3 courses, which are freely accessible. You just have to create an account, and this can be shared with your colleagues to really explore what circular economy is, also how to get started and how to embed it into your company. So leaves me to thank you for joining this session. And of course, we are always available for your questions, your insights. We do this together with Ciris, so their contacts, Stefan and Thomas, with whom we work closely together. And from Agoria, it's myself and Mira Taya, who are always available for you. So thanks a lot for joining this lunch webinar, and I wish you already a great summer. And thanks again, Daniela, for your great presentation.
Thank you. My pleasure.